It's a brand new year and I have a brand new rabbit hole burrowing its way into my ridiculous skull, and that is the Action Man 12-inch Hall of Fame line. Technically not brand new because I got my first one of these, this one, Christmas 2019, and even less brand new when you consider that these were originally released in 1992. So what I thought I would do, thanks to my good friend Luffy, is go through one of these figures at a time in a video when I get one. But what I thought I'd do before I start looking at Duke is go through a very, very brief history of how this line came to be. So back in 1964, Hasbro started making a 12-inch military man called G.I. Joe, and they were so determined not to have this be stigmatized as a doll that they invented and coined and forever changed toys going forward the term action figure. Without G.I. Joe, there would be no action figures, and I can imagine that everybody watching this would have a very different life, because where would we be without action figures? And he ran from 1964 until 1978, when Star Wars came along and changed everything yet again by shrinking the size of the figures, and Star Wars came tramping in and lightsabered Action Man's head clean off his shoulders. I think it was a couple of years later, 1966, Palatoy saw how well Hasbro was selling in the States and were like, yes, we will bring that to England, but we won't call them G.I. Joe, because over here in England, we don't call our soldiers GIs. So what should we call them? Let's call them Action Man. So Action Man ran from 1966 to 1984, which is a pretty impressive run. At first, Palatoy did just re-release the G.I. Joe figures, but they kind of forked off on their own little road and made stuff that was much more relatable to an English kid by having English-style military. So Hasbro bided the time with G.I. Joe and rebranded everything and shrunk everything down to the same sort of size as Star Wars, but give them loads more articulation and loads more weapons. And yeah, that was really, really successful and still is to this day. And we also got those very same figures over here in England, but they weren't called G.I. Joe, they weren't called Action Man, they were called Action Force. Like for the American market, this was G.I. Joe from start to the present day. Over here in England, we had Action Man, then Action Force, then G.I. Joe in 1989, and then Action Man again, for like all these same characters. And it's just like, what? But yeah, now we've adopted G.I. Joe, so everything is under that same umbrella of G.I. Joe, and it's a lot more straightforward going forward. As a 12-inch doll, he died in 1978 in America, but then Target were putting the feelers out to Hasbro to bring back these 12-inch dolls for the nostalgia value. I might be wrong, but this could be one of the first lines to really use nostalgia as a tool to sell toys again. I mean, Power of the Force 2 was 1995, so a good 3 years after this. I'm not an expert, I'm not a toy historian, I'm just, at the bottom of the ladder, picking up crumbs. So yeah, I believe it was actually 1991 when the first Target exclusive Duke 12-inch figure came out. It sold incredibly well by all accounts, so then Hasbro were like, yeah, we'll do 4 more, and they did Duke again, this time with a softer face, and they did Cobra Commander, Stalker, and Snake Eyes. And they all had a brand new body, because the original 1991 Duke used the same body as, I believe, the New Kids on the Block dolls, which is pretty interesting. So I genuinely thought that this line was just these first 4 figures. And boy, was I wrong. When I was on eBay looking for Stalker and Snake Eyes, because I knew I had Duke for Christmas, there's like 15 of these figures that I had never seen before, and now I want them all. Just one extra little bit on the topic of Action Man. In the UK in the mid to late 90s, Hasbro kept Action Man going. He's very much his own new character with his own new enemies, and they had all sorts of action features. The main reason I wanted these again is because I had them as a kid, and recently that's where my brain has taken me as a collector. I've really wanted to just replace all the stuff that I had lost, broke, damaged, going from wanting 4 figures, 2 of which I didn't even have as a kid, to wanting 15 figures, 13 of which I didn't have as a kid. Here's a quick side-by-side, the biggest difference being Action Man and G.I. Joe. Weirdly enough, what I've noticed since owning a G.I. Joe one is that the Action Man figures all come in the same box. They've all got the same 4 guys, tech specs on the back, and it must have just been a cost-cutting thing, I guess, because they already changed the main name, 1 box for everybody. It doesn't even have Cobra Commander anywhere on the box, to specify that this is Cobra Commander, whereas the G.I. Joe guys get their own box with their own tech specs and a little history of G.I. Joe on the back, which is really, really cool. On both packages, the Action Man and the G.I. Joe, it claims that they are special limited edition figures and that they are individually numbered.
And each numbered collector's edition.
I can't remember ever seeing a number on Cobra Commander, and I'm a little bit intrigued as to whether that's a bit of a lie on the Action Man figures and whether it only stands for the G.I. Joe figures. So, without further ado, why don't I have a closer look at this army lad and see if there's any sort of number on him anyway. I kind of thought it might be on the dog tags, but it wasn't. I kind of thought it might be on the boots. It wasn't. The figure stand? Nope. It feels quite bad cutting that G.I. Joe collector's edition sealed tape thing, but you know, soz. I was trying to find any sort of information about where the number is on these figures in the packaging, but there's not a whole lot online about this line. It isn't a very popular line amongst G.I. Joe collectors. Not quite sure why. I'm going to check the dog tags again because that's where I assumed that the number would be. He just has his name and stuff. No number on the dog tags, no number on the boots. Where is this special number that each figure is meant to have? Have I unearthed some kind of 28-year-old Hasbro lie? Can I go back and sue them? Is it too late? Is it in the manual? Because I don't recall getting this manual with my English versions. There's no number in that whatsoever. There's no number on the box. I can't see a number anywhere on the figure. There's a serial number, which can't be it. There's nothing on the barcode. Hey, what's going on? But now that I've desecrated some lovely 28-year-old mint and box packaging, look at Duke, look at Duke. I'm hoping the hair has survived. I noticed a few of the things on these figures perish, like the hair, the rubber parts. See how he has G.I. Joe there on his lapel? The Action Man versions, they kept that. They didn't change a whole lot other than the main box. Where's that special numbered collector's edition?
And each numbered collector's edition. Numbered collector's edition. Numbered collector's edition.
It's a lie. There it is. Triggered. So now he's all opened and you get the operations manual, which doesn't have a number in it. You get a little pistol with a lovely little holster that opens up, straps to his thigh. Pull out the gun, which doesn't have a number on it. You get the big electronic gun, which is like oddly oversized. Batteries don't work sadly because they are 28-year-old. Doesn't have a number on it. Another thigh holster with his knife, which doubles up as a bayonet. Guess what? Doesn't have a number on it, but it does attach to there like that. I was obsessed with that gun bayonet stabby combo as a kid. Oh yes. Display stand, which has the letter C on it. Not a number. And he hands like that. Stands up. So let's have a look at the figure himself. He comes with his standard issue Desert Terrain Battle footwear. He's wearing his authentically styled US Army BDU battle dress uniform. The elastic chin strap is still holding up, which I'm really happy about. And has his Fritz styled combat helmet. You can just about make out the detail on those, that there is dog tags, his government issued metal ID plates. He has US Army on one titty, Duke and the G.I. Joe logo on his other titty. His flocked hair is still in pretty good shape. He's got the trademark Action Man / G.I. Joe scar. Lovely paint on his eyes. This is FBP90 all-weather backpack. I really need a cake stand like Borders do here. So happy to have this back in my collection. So happy. You know what it is? Just for 1 second, I may as well pretend that I'm a proper toy reviewer and go through his articulation. So the legs can go out that far, they can go forward and back that far and that far. There is only 2 clicks at the knee, which is not very good. And the arms can, well, they would do a full 360, but they are a little bit hampered by the tightness of the fabric of the suit. They can go out this far, and there is not much articulation at the elbow. In fact, it's in a really bizarre place, the elbow joint. I can't quite work it out, but there is a twist, I think, there as well. And the head can do, I will remove the helmet, the head can do a full exorcist. Let's get him tooled up. These are Velcro. Please gun in there. Good, bad. Oh. See, this is why I don't have hot toys. Well, I have a hot toy, and it is lovely, and I love it. But I kind of find that I'm hesitant and a little bit scared to touch the fabrics because I don't want to like tear them or get my horrible, destructive, dirty oils all over them. I feel bad saying this, you know what I mean? But I kind of wish they did have slightly better articulation because he's not really going to hold this gun that well. I think just because it's so big, I can't really, oh, it's so awkward. It's so awkward. Does that look, that doesn't really look that good, does it? Doesn't look great, but there he is, all tooled up as well. You know, it's like, yeah, I've got 2 of these already. I went on eBay the night before Christmas Eve and bought 3. And then like 2 or 3 days ago, I bought another one. So once they've all arrived, I'll have 6, which means 9 to go. So yeah, 2021 is going to be a year focused on collecting the rest of these. Knowing me, I'll probably have them all by February. We'll see, yeah. Just to close this video off, is a mad representation of just what Hasbro did when they switched scales. I mean, look at the size difference, man. Oh, gotcha. It's strange, oftentimes when you revisit something from your childhood, it doesn't quite live up to those memories. But I'm happy to say that this is still an absolutely cracking toy, and I feel vindicated in my choice of going for the rest of them. I know the appeal of these things is very small, and my channel is even smaller, but if there's anybody out there who knows where to find the number on these, please hit me up in the comments because I am gooped.